What's up? This is Ryan.
Hey, and this is Michael. Welcome back to an episode of All Day Unpacked. We were gone for a while.
We're not dead.
Yeah, no, we're all right.
We were we were
Um,
not in one of those Southwest flights, so we're all good.
no, we took a little bit of a break after the Super Bowl. There wasn't a whole ton going on. Now free agency's hit, so there's a little bit more to talk about.
Yeah.
Draft is about a month away, and some shit starting to happen. So it didn't stop. It didn't stop all day from releasing some packs. They've been
hmm
doing the Grail packs, which I have to say at first I kind of hated, and now yeah. So I hated them at first, but I liked what they morphed into, which is the rare pack. So they started off with they started off with a $9 pack
hmm
that had a chance at a rare and a chance at a legendary, and there was like 20,000 packs or whatever. And then they did the South packs, and they were $5 a pack, and there was like 25,000. I mean, there's still
there's
and
still
yeah, there's still like 18,000 of those
those are
left.
the worst packs ever.
Yeah, those were the
I
worst packs. And
I bought
then
I bought one, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I bought a
Yep.
couple too, just because what the heck? But it's like, oh god, those were horrible packs, and
Yeah.
those stinkers are gonna be around for a while, and that's fine. They'll be giving
Yeah.
those things away from now until probably 2029.
Maybe when we're on our next stadium tour, we'll be giving those.
We'll be giving those away. And then they did. So then they kind of pivoted into the North packs, which they made them $34. You're guaranteed a rare, and then had a better shot at a legendary. And there was a Caleb 1 of 10 ultimate in there. There's an ultimate
Hmm.
in the South. There was a Bucky Neighbors in the
Oh, Bucky
no,
Neighbors.
not in the
Wow, he
South.
must be.
No,
Is, I
Jesus
heard
Christ.
Bucky Neighbors is a pretty good player. I've heard.
Fuck off. Who was the guy in the West packs? It was Bo. Was it a Bo? It was a Bo
But
Nix, and it got found pretty
probably.
quick. Then they did the South packs. It's a Brian Thomas Jr. I don't know why I thought Bucky Irving and then went to Bucky Neighbors, but whatever. Anyway, I'm just blending rookies together. It's off season. Uh, Brian Thomas Jr. That is still sitting out in those packs. They did the Caleb here, and then a Malik Neighbors in
Hmm.
the East pack, and that is still available. Those were also $34 packs. But what was really interesting is the North packs sold out fast, and then the aftermarket went crazy because people were trying to find
Why
the
is that?
Caleb.
Oh,
Well, the
did anybody
Caleb's still
find it?
available. There's only let's see, there's only 130 packs left, and one of those packs has a Caleb Williams Ultimate, and actually one of those packs has a Caleb Williams Legendary as well. So there's
What
still a
about a
lot
Joe
of
Burrow?
good. There's a Joe Burrow, there's a Caleb, there's a Jalen Reed, and there's a Mark Andrews, and there's
Ooh,
actually
Mark
a
ain't.
Darnell Wright rookie Legendary moment for really
Um,
diehard Bear fans.
got it. I say, fuck
Um,
the ultimate. Give me a Mark Andrews.
there you go. So yeah, 130 packs left, and they're going for 122 a piece right
Mm.
now.
Do you know
That
anybody who
is
might be
steep.
invested in that?
I mean, you know me, I love the Bears, so obviously I'd love to get a piece of that action. So
Do you
um,
have any of those packs?
I I do
Maybe a couple.
a
I think
couple.
two or
I
three of
do.
them.
I'm sitting on I'm sitting on them, and I know you're gonna give me shit. I know you're giving me shit earlier, so I'll just say like so. I am. I know that I don't have Caleb in them, or I shouldn't say I know, but the mathematical odds are that I don't have Caleb, so I'm not opening them to keep hope alive as long as possible. Because I cannot sell them because it would if I sold a pack that had like a Caleb Ultimate in it, I would really that would be a tough that'd be a really
That
tough
would be tough.
pill to
But
swallow.
if you know he's not in there, then you should be able to sell it no
I
problem,
don't
right?
know he's not in there. I'm just saying
Okay. Okay.
mathematically he's probably not in there. But
Got it. The math will get you every time.
the math gets me every time. So I'm hanging on to I'm hanging on my packs, and I'm hanging on to hope. That being said, the East packs, there is still the Malik Neighbors Ultimate number 2 on in those packs, and those because of what happened with Caleb, those sold out even faster because
Mm,
everybody thought, oh, we're gonna flip these things too, because there's a lot of flippers doing the packs or whatever,
got it.
and so there are 725 of those left. So
Did
still a
anybody get
good
the
chunk
Bucky
of those
neighbors though?
left. No one's getting a Bucky Neighbors.
Okay.
But hey, you know what's just so you know, one of the moments, so the most valuable moment left in the East Pack is the Malik Neighbors. But I'm
Okay.
going to segue. I'm setting you up for a segue here. The second most valuable moment left in the East Pack is the legendary New York Jets team moment debut. And
Mm,
if there's one thing we know about Ryan, he loves a good team moment. And
yeah.
that has been a theme in these packs is that there are these new team moments. So there are legendary moments for the playoff teams and rare moments for the non-playoff teams, showcasing a drive from the 2024 season.
Right.
They're out now. All of them are out and available.
Hmm.
Wanted to get your take on the, you are our team moment champion. So thoughts?
Yes, I am. Okay, so thoughts on team moments. Fantastic. I love them. Okay, and
Okay.
here's what I see right now. I feel like we kind of asked for the team moments. I specifically wanted team moments for every team in hopes that they would do some type of pick 'em pool
Yep.
next season. Now, here's my theory. Okay, the New York Jets are the one team that do not have any other team moments except for a legendary or higher. I don't think they've got an ultimate because they don't have any ultimate moments. But
Well, there's
they
Matt,
have,
there's one other we talked about.
well, okay, but I'm going to get to that in a second. Okay, so there is the Saints as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Jets and the Saints are the two. But what I will say about the Jets right now is the Jets are going for like $3. You can
Yeah.
get the Jets team moment for next to nothing. And what I would say is there's 299 of them, I think. Um, I would recommend if you have any like dreams or hopes that there is going to be any type of pick and pool where they would use team moments, pick up a Jets moment and get it soon. And the thought is that the same thing with the Saints. The Saints is like I think at like $15 right now, but again, I feel like this is a great moment for all day to really pick up the team moments. And again, I want to stress this to them. If you are going to do any type of pick and pool with the team moments, do not, I repeat, do not just use the 2024 moments and use those where you have to use those exclusively. That would be a huge mistake. Use all the team moments. Say if you've got any team moment, if you've got the Patriots team moment from season 1 or season 2, the rare one, you
Yeah.
can use that. It should be any team moment. Do not. They make this mistake where they're like, get the new ones. You got to buy. And I know that they're trying to make sales, but I think if you want to get people's respect back and get people interested, just leave it open to all team moments, therefore boosting the floor of team moments and kind of bringing a little bit of love back to that area, which it's an easy thing to do. So
Yeah.
again,
Let people use their collections.
let them use their collections and let them use any team moments. Do not
Yeah.
let them use those team moments where they had like the plays zigzagging on there, like the rings and
Oh,
stuff like
those
that.
aren't even, yeah,
Those don't
those
count.
aren't,
But any
no.
type of team moment, whether it be a common, a rare, or a legendary, and I will pitch you this one thing. I will say that use the tier as a tiebreaker. So when you're
Hmm.
doing like, if you're doing a pick 'em pool and multiple people pick, the Saints, if you have a legendary Saints and somebody has a rare Saints, picked, then the legendary would get some type of tiebreaker on that. So that
Well,
way you could kind of incentivize people to get the
yeah.
higher moments.
Well, I was thinking if you do a pick and pool, right? Let's say there's 13 games, right? And
Yep.
let's say you and I tie with 11 right each,
Hmm.
and you used six legendaries and I only used four. You would win the tiebreaker
Sure.
by using more legendaries in that regard,
Right.
or
And
more
there's
rare, or more whatever.
right. And there's a million different ways to slice it. Like you were saying, like you could lay down multiples of the same team. Like maybe it can be that type of thing where you put down as many, like if you have 10 Eagles moments, you can put down 10 and 10 is equivalent to that. You can make a whole system out of it. But again,
Yeah,
you could get team moments and you could blast them off into the stratosphere. And again, you know, my thought is right now I'm picking up some Jets moments. I'm going out there and I'm getting Jets moments because again, Saints are not on the same price point. The Jets are dirt cheap. To me, that's a steal.
yeah,
If that was to take place, if it doesn't, well then it's like every other team moment. It's worth nothing. So, and I think this should include banner moments. If I haven't said that before, any type of team moment, because that would
yeah.
include the
No,
Charger,
I
the Chargers
agree.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like what you're saying too, where it's like if you play the legendary, then it helps you in the tiebreaker versus the rare.
Sure.
So I think, again, it's not too big of an advantage. It's a slight advantage, but it's not
Right.
ultimately if if you outpick somebody, it doesn't matter if I get 10 right and you get 9 right, you could have played 9 legendaries and I could have played 10 commons. I'm still gonna win. So
Correct.
I'm 100% I'm 100% with you on that one. I like it, and I
Yep.
like the idea of using full collections again and not just
Yes.
not just the new stuff. Which I know we're saying
I
that.
just
I just hope
I
they're listening.
Yeah, I just want to
Yeah.
say one thing. I feel
Yep.
like they could also do kind of like what they did with Playbook. They could have a common version, they could have a rare version, and I don't know if they've got enough to do it, but they could do a legendary pick 'em pool. So it's like you could do tiers. I don't
Yeah.
know exactly how things match up, but you could do it that way as well. And again, I think that would offer because now they've got all the teams have rares. I believe most of them, except for the Jets and the Saints, have commons. That would be a simple fix.
You
Um,
mean have rares because the just
no, I mean
there's
commons because I'm saying you could do a common tier because
yeah
the Jets
there's a
don't have a
lot of teams.
common.
There's a lot more teams that don't have commons. Browns don't have a common.
Okay,
The
Chargers.
uh yeah, I don't think the Bears have a common.
Okay, what I'm saying is a
Lions, I don't
is a
think.
common
Yeah,
team
so
moment
yeah.
is an easy. The Lions do. I remember the Lions.
Do they
They
have a
have one.
okay.
I believe they do. Yes,
All
but
right.
what I'm saying is that you could make an easy fix for the common section. I mean, they put out commons all the time.
I mean,
So
here's the thing. The rares are so cheap. I feel like you could probably just do a rare and call it a day. Like
probably,
there's yeah.
probably. Yep, you're
So
absolutely right. So I would think that for the amount of people that would probably participate, you could do the rare version, and if that many people wanted to participate, then you could unload a couple new commons to kind of help facilitate that. But
yeah.
I really think that the pick 'em pool would be, I think that would be a huge success because it wouldn't take much to play. And I think
No.
who doesn't do one of those through their work or through a friend group or something like that. So it's just
Yeah.
that's an easy layup. So I'll stop ranting on that.
Yeah, no, it's a good rant. I know sometimes you get off on a tangent, but I will say that I like where you're going with that one in the sense of like I think that's practical. I think people would like it. It would allow the core user base to participate just because there's like, again, there's a few that would be um, not have tons of moments, but there's a few hundred moments for each team. So I think it's a good situation. We'll have to go through a little bit more thoroughly and come back on, like if there's any other teams because I feel like there's one more team we're missing that's not that's got like I'm trying to think of legendaries. The
Well,
Tampa
they
Bay
all have.
Buccaneers. That was who I was trying to think of. It was I think the Buccaneers only have legend. Well, no, they'd have a rare because of banner year. Never mind. We're good. Okay.
Yep, yep. I think the
Yep.
banner year is where you kind of lose track of
Yeah.
like some of these teams. Yeah,
The banner year helps out. It's basically it's non-playoff teams that have only a legendary in the back catalog. So
correct. And again, I think it's another like like we're always looking for more to do, and it's like how hard is it to pick teams? You just all you got to do is just put down your team moment, boom, and it's like you're done, and it's like
yep,
you're in it.
yep,
It's
agreed.
such a simple solution. And I mean, maybe there's some legalities to like picking teams. I can't imagine that if people can bet money
I
on I
yeah, I can't. It's got to be okay to do a pick 'em pool, obviously, because it's
yes.
not. You're not. Yeah, it's. Um. Anyway, we'll see what they're doing.
Okay.
They're releasing these moments for something. There's
Right.
what I mean. Like this feels intentional in the sense of they released a team moment for every team. Again, it may wind up being that there's like going to be something where maybe it's they reward teams. Maybe it's a draft selection thing. Maybe it's something in the offseason, something like
Yeah.
that. So who
I
knows?
mean, hey, great idea. The draft would be another great thing to do. One other thing I just want to pitch that I think could be like a lot of fun is doing like maybe you just do it on Monday nights or Thursday night when there's just one game. But
Yeah.
if they have two teams that have a lot of common moments, maybe there's some small prize, but you put down a bunch of moments, and if you pick the wrong team, then your moments get burnt. So
Mm,
like a way of kind of like not wagering your moment, but kind of like putting it up in a sense where it's like, if you pick the right team, you're part of like the winning bracket, and maybe you get in like a like some type of like entry to maybe get like a new moment or something like that. And
hmm.
if you lose, then you lose your team moment. And there's so many team moments right now that we could afford to get a bunch of them burnt off.
Yeah. Well, not every team, but some teams, yeah. So we'll see. The one thing I'll say too is that that they did design this series and were explicit about it closing out before the draft. So I
Yeah.
feel like there's going to be something around the draft with team moments or something.
I
I don't know. We'll see.
yeah. Again, I mean, there's only 299 of them. I think that people are just really
Well,
underestimating
there's
the
yeah.
team
I mean,
moments.
yeah. With the again, I think they're going to do something that will involve the banner years too. So I wonder if they may. My only concern would be what if they do something where it's like you have to use a 2024 moment. So it could be a banner year moment or it could be a what a drive moment, but it has to be from 2024. That I could
And
see
that
them doing that.
yeah.
I don't love that. I'm just saying it what they would do though is try to like drive up the scarcity. So nonetheless, it's still like it still what it would do though is any non-playoff teams, it makes them a little bit more coveted just because there's less of them. So I don't know. It
How about
something to
this?
think about.
Let me pitch you another one because I like pitching
Yep.
things. What about the night before the first round of the draft? You have to take your team moments, whatever they're from, and you have to pick the draft order. And again, we all know what the draft order is now, but
Yeah, I
we
know what
have
you're
to
saying with
think like
trades.
with trades.
I would,
So you
yeah. Okay, I'm going to pitch back here. I'm going to say
okay,
instead of that, what I would do is I would take the top 10 guys and I would say who's going to draft who's going to draft, Ash or Genty, right? Whoever's
okay,
going to draft
yep,
Genty, put that team moment in here.
okay.
Who
I
is
like
going to
that better.
have
Yep,
Cam Ward? Put that team moment here.
yeah.
Who's going to
That's
have
that's
this guy? Put that team moment. So,
yeah. I think that's a better idea. Yeah, because I think that kind of like I think a lot of the people involved in this are more like player, like they're
yeah.
more about the player than the team.
Right.
So I think that that kind of fits that bill a little bit better. So
Well,
I
and the
like
other
your idea
nice
better.
thing about that too is that the top 10 is more of the rare moments. So
Sure.
it would open up the competition a little bit more to, to more people that way. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
it could,
So are you telling me to go out and get a Titans moment? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm just saying, I mean, like, I wouldn't hurt to have some Titans moments. What are they going for right now? Let's look. They are going for
What, like $8 or $9?
$7 right now in the marketplace.
Okay. Okay. So before we put this episode out, we got to go clean this place
I
out.
know, we really do. I
Yeah.
mean, not clean out, but we gotta get maybe a few. You know what? To be honest with you too, though, it's like we like we're only getting so many views here, so we'll see what happened. Speaking of which, I got to give a Nikhil Harry update. Um, there was because of the some of the burn challenges for the East Grail or for the East Rewind packs.
Hmm.
There was a lot more activity around. Like one of them was burning Series One moments from the AFC or the AFC and NFC East lately, and
Sure.
so a lot more activity around Nikhil Harry lately. I went from having I think I had 9 a week ago. I've got 25 now
So how would you end up with more based on that?
because people are in the mindset of like now right now is the best price I'm going to get for these guys because people want to burn them for the pack challenges. And so I had just put a bunch of offers out there for Nikhil Harry and just a bunch of them went through. So,
Oh, really?
yep. So I like it's burned through now. The high offer on Nikhil Harry right now is only $4. So um yeah, so it's come down. Like I had a bunch of offers in at 5
And you
obviously,
got a bunch of them at 5?
and they've all gotten filled. So I've got a bunch of Nikhil Harris at the $5 mark, and I did buy a couple. That there's like a couple someone listed for 7, and I just wanted to do it to clear them out, just to get them up into double digits. And so um,
So, and you're saying where is he at right now?
I think he's at like $9.
Oh, he is at $9. Okay.
Yeah, so he's not like crazy high,
Yeah.
and there's still a lot to go, obviously.
There's a
Like,
long way
but
to go, but
yeah,
again,
but
yeah.
I'm not. It's a slow game I'm playing on Nikhil Harry, so I'm letting the market come to me and you. But just letting everybody know or anybody know who's following along, we're chipping away at Nikhil Harry, and so we'll see what happens. I'm hoping some got burned for the challenges. I almost went. I didn't want any of the East packs, but I almost went in on a few just so I could burn some Nikhil Harrys. But I
Yeah. I mean,
held off.
yeah. Interesting. I like it.
So
Did you look
yeah.
to see how many are burnt? Have we checked that?
It was. I haven't checked to see if it updated.
I'll
Um,
check. I'll check. You can go ahead and
okay. So
bring
yeah,
up the next top.
so that's the Nikhil Harry update. So after that, what we've got is an interesting thing. I shouldn't say. I don't know how interesting this is, but um, Top Shot. This is a very Top Shot heavy episode. I'm sorry, but they do kind of go first, and so they're doing a few interesting things right now that I think will be coming to all day very soon. It would make sense. But Top Shot went and now has a presence on OpenSea, and so I'll say two things. One is it's interesting that they chose to go on to OpenSea, which is it's a huge platform, so it's a lot of exposure. But I'm kind of surprised that they went into the NFT direction of OpenSea and said, "Hey, we're NFTs. Buy us on OpenSea." Because I
Yeah.
almost feel like right now, like NFTs are kind of down, like the popularity's down. So I might have just like pivoted away from the whole idea of an NFT into a digital football card or something, or something different than the wording of an
Yeah.
NFT. But going to OpenSea is like really embracing the NFT kind of vision, and so just
Hmm.
was curious if you had any thoughts on that as far as them going on to OpenSea. I mean,
I,
it's only Top Shot so far, but I would imagine All Day is not far behind.
Probably not. I don't. I mean, I don't know what it could hurt necessarily. I mean, I think again, the popularity is so far in the toilet. It's not like the average person's going to be like, oh shit, they're on open seas. I mean, it's like it's not,
That's fair. Yeah.
So I guess the whole thing is like I think it can just get them exposure at this point, and I think they're desperate for that.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
guess I'm
That's a good point. Just trying to get more people to even just see the product.
right. So I guess maybe it's just somebody else sees it and says, "Hey, I've never even heard of this before." So again, it's just about exposure. So you know, I don't know where else they would get that exposure at.
Yeah,
Um,
I just don't know how big of a crossover market is going to be on there. But hey, I
I think
and
that's more
to
of an
be
advertisement than a
yeah.
what's it called? It's like free advertising versus instead of just paying for advertising. I think it's just a way to get it out there.
Yeah. I am going to look right now to see what kind of volume they've done. Um,
I'll go ahead and chip or chime in on the Nikhil Harry.
they've actually okay,
68.
so they've done 50,000 flow. Flow's kind of in the shitter right now, right? What's flow worth about? Is it worth
40
about
some
30,
cents.
40 cents? All
Mm,
right. So,
let me just jump in on the Nikhil
yeah,
Harry
yeah.
thing before I forget. 68 burned.
All right, so I think a few more
So he's
burnt
up.
because I want to
Yeah.
say it was around 59 before.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a little less than that, but that
I
68
don't
seems like
you
a
know
higher
I
number.
don't know.
Here's the thing. There's only 831 in the supply.
All right.
So it says burnt 68, supply 831.
There's still a pretty good chunk of those left in packs, if I remember right. Isn't there over 100 left in packs?
I will over 100?
Or maybe it's like 70 something. Or maybe it was the same number as the number burned, but I
58.
remember it being 58. Okay. It was the same number as what was burned before. So that's why that number was in my head. So I think that it sounds like we burned about 11 Nikhils in the pack stuff and um so good, and there's still a good chunk left in some packs, so it's interesting. We'll see.
Yeah, but I will say this, it's it's going to get harder and harder to complete set 1 of launch codes.
It is, I mean,
It
it's
it's
crazy to think that there's only, I mean, I think Carson Wentz is the most burnt launch code player.
I think because there
um
was a challenge surrounding him at
yeah,
one
there was
point. Yeah,
something
there
where it
was
was specifically you had
yeah,
to burn his
and he
debut or
was like the
something.
obvious choice. Yep.
Yeah,
But again, like
so
this is like again, if they were smart, they would say, okay, they would use launch code series 1 for something and make people like go out there and like try to complete it because again, that's I feel like that's where you get that fear of missing out. Like, oh God, I'm gonna miss out on the Jaden Daniels, this or that. I don't have launch code series 1, and then people are like scrambling to get it. Those are
I
the
mean,
days that I long for.
I know it would be nice if they would do something like that, where it's like, let's lock, like you got to lock launch code series 1 to get some special Jaden Daniels moment or something. It's
Right.
like, and
Make
it doesn't
him
have to just
lock
make it
it
a
for
rare. It doesn't have to be like anything.
Yeah.
to it doesn't have, you can just make it a rare like that, and that would just make, I mean, it would do two things. One is it rewards your older collectors, and then it would also think of what it would do for the floors of those moments. They would just like, people would want that moment. All these Jaden Daniel fans would want that. So
Right. But then again, like there's only so many people who can get it. So then it's like there's only so many combinations. So it's like
right.
it would start to seize up the market and people would be like, oh shit. And then like you would see the floors jump up. And then on top of that, you're locking it. And then if they announced, hey, we might use launch code series one again, I mean, it would just make things go pew. Like again. And I feel like that's where like
I
a guy
know
like
that's such a layup.
I know we're gonna
Yeah.
get into the whole Kookaburra thing here in a second.
Yep.
Um, but what I will say is like that's where you would have gotten people like that back in the mix where they'd have been like, okay, like I assume that, but I feel like they would have been like, okay, like I've got some value in what I have.
Yeah.
Maybe. I feel like that's where you get
I
some
don't
of
know
the
if it would have gotten
wanting.
him back per se, and so obviously that's a good
Maybe not.
segue into
I'm
that, which
speaking about
is
somebody I don't know, but I guess I'm just saying that I feel like there's a lot of people that are sitting there hanging in the balance going, just
yeah,
give me one, just give me one, you know?
yeah. Well, and that's just it. Just give them, just give us one. Like we're not saying everything has to be that way, but just like read the room, right? Like look at like the stars and pick just again pick Jaden or maybe it's just Bo
Pick
Nix.
one of the new,
Like
hey, how about the new guys that are coming out?
right,
There's there's a ton
yeah.
of new rookies coming out. Pick one of those
Cam
dudes.
Ward, pick Cam Ward or something, and just give him a
There
special
you go.
rare or whatever.
Travis
Like,
Hunter.
but yeah, Travis. Any like, actually, I would do Travis Hunter Afterburners just personally, and I would do or Ball Hawks potentially. But you get my point. Like,
Hmm.
just like take some of these older sets or whatever, and just make them like relevant. Like, it
Yeah.
would be again. It's just like that would. It's not. They tend to just be like all or none. Like they either do when they do things, they're like everything's locking this year and you have to lock for everything, and then that's all they do. They make themselves into like a one trick pony, and it's a different trick every year, but it's like that's all they do. And it's like mix it up. Like it's that would go so much further, because then it would be like you would satisfy all the different people who are like oh, I want this, well I want that, well I want, it's like great, you get that. And it's like, hey, you want that moment, well collect it like that, like go
Yeah.
get these things. And if you don't want to collect launch code series ones, guess what, there'll be plenty of people who collect it and will sell it to you in the aftermarket, and you can pay the premium for it, and then
Yep.
great. Like that's it
That's what
just
keeps the market up.
right. That is what would keep the market up, and they just don't seem to see that. And that's
No. I feel
and
like
that
they're
and
always
anyway, that's why you get a guy like Kookaburra, who we've had a changing of the guard. Like he used to be kind of the guy who had the collection, and he has gotten rid of a ton of his collection. Like he's still got a few of like Mahomes jersey serials and things like that in his collection, but
sure.
a big chunk of it went to Digitally Rare, who's now he's like the new Kookaburra. Like Digitally Rare is like the new Kookaburra. He's got the biggest collection.
Sure.
I mean, they sent him to the Super Bowl, which they should have.
Sure.
It's like, yeah, he's the guy now.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a little bit. Yeah. I mean, we were around kind of when Kookaburra was like the guy and slash OC sniper. He was like the OG. He was the OG sniper. And
Yeah.
now it's kind of sad. I'm a little sad he's gone. I know that like he was upset about he was upset about the one of one Genesis moments that were there, and they released like 10 of them, and the rest of
Sure.
them I like they keep like I'm really curious to see what they do with the rest of them, because there are some like there's like 300 of them or something, and some of these guys that
Yeah.
are like they're out of the NFL. Like some of the guys they picked are just bad. Like, and it's like there's like a one of like Scrubby McJenkins that somebody who's on the Browns, and it's like somebody's gonna land that guy. Like if they ever do release them, it's like what? How do you value a one of some scrub that did 2 years in the NFL and washed out? So
I don't know. And I don't know how they're going to distribute those. I mean, like, I don't know.
I yeah, I have no idea, but it will be interesting. And I mean, especially with free agency, like half the guys probably aren't even on the same team anymore. But
Oh, I know. It's going to be like a
we'll
Josh Gordon one of one.
uh, yeah, we'll save that. We'll save that for when that does, whenever that goes down. my feeling is those moments will never see the light of day. They're like the, whatever. It's
I
the
don't think they should. I don't think they should. I think they should just burn
no,
them.
burn them, just burn
Yeah.
them.
So
Yep,
let's just. I know we've got a few things we want to talk about, but this is kind of like I feel like this is more of a pressing thing. What can they do this season that they didn't do? Like, what can they do to add on to last season? Because I will say this, they did
yep,
much better last season than they have in previous years. But
agreed.
so, what is the next step that they can take to kind of
Yeah.
like what
So
are not
I'll
just one
throw out
step?
two. I have two ideas. So
Okay,
idea number one would be keep playbook in some capacity, and I'll come back to playbook in a second. But keep playbook. But I would also do a secondary thing with like some like kind of a one moment, like they did that whole, like they started doing that moment of the week thing where it was like a moment that you would that
sure.
they threw in
Okay,
the packs and such. I'm a little bit like, you can still do that or whatever, but like what I would do is like take one, like, like sell your moments and make your money, and that's fine. But like just take one moment per week or two moments per week and make those like your special uh collect moments. So like for instance, they like 2 years ago they would do a thing where it'd be like post whatever, and there was a lot of really like a lot of people, and a lot of the flippers who are whiners in the Discord especially loved doing that because it was like you had to like lock five guys, like the top rusher and the top this and the top that and the top this. And you would lock those five, and then you would get this special, you would be able to get that moment
sure.
special. And so I would want to bring that back where people can lock, like where you have playbook, but like it's like, hey, lock one of the top three rushers, lock one of the top three receivers, lock one of the top two passers. I don't know. I'm just throwing
Are we going
ideas out
back to
here.
like, and maybe I'm going a little bit far back on this, but are we talking about like the Gabe Davis and Donald Driver days? Or
Yeah.
are we going like where like there was one guy that you had to like where there was like
Yes.
bottlenecks?
Yes. Right. And that's what the flippers loved, is that like that you could buy up the floor of some guy. Like they would announce it and people would rush out, and they would like, as the games were going on and you thought like, oh, maybe Josh Jacobs is going to be the leading rusher, people would
And they would
buy his
guess and
moment up.
speculate. Yep.
Right. Yeah. And it's like some of it was speculation like that. And then some of it was like what you said, where it was like, hey, you play a guy who was drafted in the first round, second round, third round, fourth round. And Donald Driver was the sixth round, whatever, or seventh round guy or whatever.
Sure.
And he was the bottleneck. Things like that, which, again, it's, it adds like kind of a dimension of fun to the whole situation, I think. Some gamesmanship. It
Some
keeps some of
scarcity.
the, yeah, and so I would add a little bit of that back too, like just some of
Yeah.
those kind of things. And the thing is like with moments like that, it's like the commons that you sell in the packs, those are what lose value. When you do, like, if you do kind of these things where it's like mint to complete and you've got to have special moments, those usually will, like everything goes down, but those maintain value because again, it's like only if you really want it, or you're trying to, like there are some flippers who will put it together, but you have to have an investment in the product to get it. And so it
Hmm.
rewards the people who collect the product in addition to the playbook, which I mean, I think they should keep playbook, but I would love to see them style it a little bit more after like Top Shot, which would be, instead of like what I liked how they did it was like, like have five tackles, this, whatever, but like what Top Shot will do is they'll say like pick five players who are going to score 125 points today. Pick five players who are going to combine for 40 rebounds. Pick, five players who are going to combine for, 30 assists and 10 five steals or whatever. Like, and so why not do that with the football, right? Like pick three running backs who are going to run for 250 yards or more. Put
So
in,
combined yards
yeah, combine
together.
yards. That way it's like, because it's the one thing that they did that kind of sucked was it was all or nothing. It was like, if everybody played Saquon Barkley and he either hit and you hit and everybody hit,
Right.
or he missed and
No,
then
but
everybody missed except for like five people who tried something different. And
yeah.
so I'd love to see them do like the combo thing with like a leaderboard and stuff like that, more like Top Shot. Just because I think, again, I think there's like some really, it adds a little bit more gamesmanship, and it
Yeah.
gives you the ability to, like, yeah, everybody's going to play Saquon, but it's like, who are you going to pick for 2 and 3? And that's where you can really like set yourself apart and really kind of make the difference or whatever, instead of just like
Right.
it just being based on, do you got the Saquon this? Do you have
Well,
the,
and
you
Yeah,
know.
and they can set parameters on it too. They could say pick an AFC West team and pick like, they could say like different parameters where like you can't just pick Saquon Barkley. They could change it up a little bit. That's what I
So
would think.
yeah, in just to like kind of understand it better, I've actually been playing it this season off and on. Not very well, but nonetheless, because I'm not a basketball. I mean, I know a little bit about basketball, but enough to like be dangerous and win here and there. So, but one thing I'll say too is that they've now started like a pro game in conjunction with that. And what they do, which
Hmm.
I really like, is in the pro game, it'll be like, okay, pick 5 players that score 125 points, but they have to be from launch codes. Or, well,
Got
I'm
it.
saying launch codes for football,
Yeah, I know
but
what
for
you're
them,
saying.
it's
Yep.
like, from this
Has to be from
series,
a
from that
series.
series, where it's like a
Sure.
rare series, or,
Yeah.
or it has to be from this. And so that I really like. Like that idea for like the pro level is like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
anybody can play like, a Pat Mahomes common, but you got to have a Pat Mahomes launch code moment or a Pat Mahomes hollow or a Pat Mahomes this or that. And then like that's how you kind of up the game for like the pro level. And that I really like that idea. Like I'd love to see them get that and parlay it over to what we do at all day.
All day. I'd like to see that, but the one thing I would hope that they wouldn't do is just make it all about the new moments because I feel like that to me is like the one mistake that they constantly make is they just
Yeah.
say the new moments that just came out yesterday, you got to go out and buy all those and then play those. And those are the ones you got to do. And it's like, we don't care what you've bought before, just go buy our new moments. And it feels like they're always so desperate to sell the new moments that
Hmm.
it just feels desperate and it feels like it just kills like any type of game involved and just kind of piggybacking on what you're saying it's just playbook felt like it was just a rinse and repeat. They didn't do
Yeah.
anything to really change it. They just kept, and again, like they developed something good and it's almost felt like they don't have enough hands on deck where they just like got three guys in a room and they're like, okay, we got this set, now we got to go work on Top Shot, leave this alone, this is good, we're out of here.
Well, it is different teams that work on it, but to your point, I agree. And the Top Shot stuff gets repetitive too. So just to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
clear,
I'm sure it
they
does, yeah,
recycle the same like,
I'm
10
sure they
or
do.
11 different ones too.
I
So
get it.
um but I do agree. Like I like the idea. I feel like with football there's like so many things you can do too, right? Like they can do, again, there's some things that they can do there. So if they combine that with some of the older stuff, which is, like kind of you've got the stuff leading up, like it is one of those things where it's like, you got the stuff like kind of leading up to the games, and that's what everybody does.
Yep.
Like you pick your guys before the games, but then it's fun to have like something to do kind of during the games and after the
Hmm.
games. Like, oh man, I gotta have this guy. Do I have that? Do I have this? Did I get this guy? Oh, do I have that kind of thing?
Yep.
And again, some of those I remember some of the old school ones weren't just have the moment. It was you had to burn the moment. Like it was like a
Yeah.
challenge. Like you want to craft this really nice moment. Great, you have to burn a rare from the top rusher. You have to burn a this, and like there's a great way to get rid of supply. And you're creating new moments, but you're burning multiple moments to get to it, and people like that kind of stuff. So
Yes.
I
And
would bring some
burn
of
the
that back.
series one launch codes, things like that. Like again, that's
Yeah,
where you start. Yeah. I mean, I would like to see them take advantage of like I feel like this is the year that they could actually start to create some scarcity and start to see if that's actually going to work.
yeah,
Like start testing the water, start dipping your toes and, saying you got to have a set that's maybe there's not as many. Like take a week and burn up a bunch of moments from Ball Hawks or something like that from like
yeah,
series 2. And then say you got to have it like 3 weeks later and then just see what happens as like less people have it and like just
yeah,
does that push because the rare market is in the toilet. And I think
yeah,
that the like to me the rare market is the most damaged market of them all right now. And I
yeah.
feel like they could really bump that back up and
They
it's
could.
just
The
it,
only my only my so I'm fully on board. The one like kind of downside is that they renamed a bunch of the rares. So it's like now we have like you know whiteout wonders and so it's like they kept some names, but they also kind of like added some new. So
yep.
I think that could be a little detrimental or a little confusing, or they'd have to come up with something where you could use multiple or
Yeah,
something. I don't know, but I would hate to see
I mean
because
how hard would that be to
well,
like I
no,
mean
I'm
to do
saying I'm with you.
multiples.
I would hate to see them just go. You have to have whiteout wonders. You can't use
Yeah.
afterburners. You can't use, what was the other one? It was. I guess there were a
Heroes and
few receivers
heartbreakers.
and launch codes at first.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say just, take the layups at the beginning and
Yeah,
just see what happens.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I agree.
I
So,
yeah, and I think that this needs to be a topic of conversation that we kind of hit in the off season. I mean, again, they are so close to getting this somewhat right.
yep.
I really think, like, again, there my plan for them is number one is the draft. Get something going for the draft. Make some type of, not, you don't call it playbook, whatever you want to make it, but make some type
Yeah.
of
Like a
gamesmanship for the
challenge.
draft.
Yeah.
Yes, get that all ready, and then start to really prepare for the season. Get your playbook going. Like, once the draft's through, start getting your playbook together. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be like another rookie thing, but make sure you got your game locked in, because again, you can have all the rookies you want and you can sell those moments, but it's like having the game locked down. And like you said, I would like to see. I'm fine with the same playbook, going back and doing the Donald Driver slash Gabe Davis stuff from the old, and then
Yep.
having like a pick'em league. Like, if they had those, like a three-headed monster, where they had those three things, and I feel like they could kind of like,
Hmm.
kind of finagle those things. And I feel like those things are already created. It's not like they'd have to, well, I'm sorry, the Pick'em League was not, but I feel like the other two have already been created. So it's not like you're doing anything crazy. You're just taking what already exists and finagling it a little bit and then adding your Pick'em League. And then I know they're going to do a huge push with rookies and then start working with the scarcity and whatnot. So I think that to me is kind of like, they got to have a nice set game plan. And I think they should maybe announce, like, hey, this is what we're doing,
Yeah.
and give themselves enough room that if people are like, that sucks, then maybe they can backtrack and maybe reshape.
Yeah. I'm a little interested to see how the rookies play out this year because I don't. You look at this class, not a lot of quarterbacks,
Yeah.
some receivers, but it is really like when you want to look at this class, it is super strong D line. Like it is
Yeah.
probably one of the best D line drafts in recent history. And so the problem with that is that doesn't move a lot of moments. And so I think they'll do some rookie stuff, the rookie debut and such, but I don't know if it's going to have quite the pull that it did last year because last year was so offense heavy and so talented. I'm telling you, I know, like, I mean, I'm telling you, just look at that draft. There
Sure.
were a lot of players that were really good.
Hmm.
Uh, and
And
so
we're kind of due for a bust. We're due for like a downdraft.
yeah, it's not even a bust. It's going to be a more defensive heavy draft. So I think
Sure.
it's just not going to be as sexy because people want guys that score touchdowns and make big plays. And, it's like D linemen. It's like sacks are cool, especially when, your team's getting them, but it's not like, what I'm saying? Like you're not watching back like sacks from like around the league. You're watching back the big plays and such. So
But
it,
again, they can design the game around what's coming out. If it is a lot of defensive linemen, then when you're creating playbook, keep that in mind. Like, where are most of the players coming from, and have like a section kind of cut out for using those rookie moments for
yeah,
sacks or something like
yeah.
that. Make that a potential category. I mean, I don't think that would be too
Yeah,
much to
sacks are
ask.
that's such a tricky one though to like get like, and this is a great example of
Yeah,
where playing you could use multiple, right? So three players that will combine for two sacks or
sure.
one and a half or something, or
Yeah,
like things like that. Where again, it's not just like you got to like lottery pick
the
the
one.
right
Yeah.
lineup type of thing. So,
Right.
um,
And like you said, like, if there's multiples, you could say multiple rookies. You could use like a group of rookies that have to have, two or more sacks in that weekend's game. I
yeah,
think there's always going to be a lot of options. It's just, do they got somebody organizing it and kind of saying, "Hey, this is what we're doing." And yeah.
all right. Well, anyway, moving on. We talked about the open sea stuff. We got a little bit of a so again, like I said, very top shot heavy episode, but this really bears mentioning because this was very concerning, I think, for a lot of people, and that is this whole Paul Pierce pack thing that happened on Top Shot. So, for those who don't know, they had a pack, these Paul Pierce packs, where there was like these three moments, and they were supposed to be minted out to 5,000 moments per of the of each of the Paul Pierce. And what happened was there was a great demand for them, and so the team at Top Shot announced, "Hey, we're expanding it from 5,000 to 65,000 or 6,500. Sorry, not 65,000. So from 5,000 to 6,500, and we are going to. That's what we're going to do. And so they do that, and they increase the mint to 6,500, which they had clearly said they were going to make it 5,000.
Sure.
Now, there is some debate. So apparently, the team at TopShot says they said it was going to be a mint to like a what is it cost like a close or what I forget what the term is, but
Well, they
basically
said they were
there's a
going to do one
term.
amount, and yeah,
Well, but there's a term that they use where they call it a certain type of edition, where it's like the CC edition, where, and I, for whatever reason, I'm brain farting right now, but it means that it's not closed. It means that they can keep minting beyond that number.
sure,
It's kind of in the fine print, and then when it says LE, that means that edition, that number is the number it stops at. And so Top Shot said, "Hey, we said it was going to be a CC edition, and so you needed to read the fine print, but the graphic on the front page had the LE on it, and so
sure,
that was what threw people off. Is I think the fine print on the thing said the CC stuff, but the graphic on the front said LE, and that's what people looked at, and so." They screwed up. It was a huge thing, and then what they wound up doing was pulling back and just saying, "Forget it. We're only going to do 5,000." But it did create some issues in the sense that a few of the packs got out, and so someone actually owns Paul Pierce number 6,500 out of 5,000, and it just was a logistical nightmare. But the thing it did is it eroded a lot of trust. It feels like there's some people who I talk to that are still, even though it's been resolved, they're still just like really upset about this. And I think again, it's Dapper does this a lot. They make a dumb mistake where they don't check, like where the front doesn't match the back, and they don't check it, and then they get themselves in this situation where we've seen this on all day where one thing will say they're going to do this, and the other thing says they're going to do that, and they don't match, and then when they don't do it, and then they go, well, sorry, we meant this. Everybody gets upset, and and
right.
then you get all the people who did this for that, and so it just these are the kind of like amateur hour mistakes that they really got to get past. And I know it's tough, but it's like, I mean, look, I work in that area. Get better QA, get better UAT, whatever you got to do. You got to get people who get eyes on this product that aren't working. Like it feels like it's being like QA'd by the devs, meaning they're looking at their own thing and they're just like, yeah, looks good, looks right. And someone has to have fresh eyes on that, and it's not
Sure.
being done well. So I don't
Got
know the
it.
inner workings at Dapper, but it caused a huge uproar. I would hate to see that happen at all day. I just feel like they should just say, look, if we say the addition, like forget this like bullshit of like we may add to this edition. No. Once it's announced, that's that. If it's 5,000, it's 5,000. If it's two, it's two. If
Well,
it's
they did stick
200,
to the
it's 200.
5,000.
Eventually, but only because people, really let them hear it. So
Yeah,
it just, the fact that they would even do that, I just, that doesn't sit well with me. So,
yeah. I
so
guess
I
it
say,
doesn't. I mean, yeah.
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I mean, like the whole thing is when you're dealing with, like we're in the infant stages of, this whole project and everything like that, and we're still early to it, and there's gonna be fuck ups, and I think that, like again, I think at the end of the day that I don't think I've seen them do anything and then go wrong on it. I feel like they've always corrected it. When people scream loud enough, I think that
Right.
they've
They
always gone through
do.
and they've always
Yeah.
fixed it. And again, it's
I wouldn't
it's
say
like,
always because we do have those Genesis moments, but yeah, I get what you're
well,
saying.
no, I mean,
Nine
but
times out of 10.
again, but I mean, like, how did anybody get done dirty on the Genesis moments?
How did they make it done dirty? It to me, what it did was it devalued. Like if they would have gone through with that, it would have really and they did to a degree, but it devalued some of the ultimates and some of the kind of the legendaries and things like that because it created this like a one of one just isn't it like I don't
It
think
was
we
just a
are
bad
ready for
idea.
one of one. Yeah, it was a horrible idea. It did
I,
everybody
I
dirty because it just created this like someone could just pull a one of one, like especially when it was like in a pack or whatever, and it's like all the value goes to that one of one, and then they just dump it, and then and the money gets pulled out of the system, and that's how it was. It wasn't like a reward. It wasn't distributed to the people who it should have been. I just don't like Ultimates. I can understand because they're high value, but they're kind of like that's it. This one of one thing, I just think it was a bad idea. I'm
Right. I
very
think it was a
glad that
terrible
Digitally Rare
idea.
has come in and bought the ones that he's bought because they need to be out of circulation.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mean, I feel bad for the people who bought them originally. I think if anybody has a gripe, it's the people that bought them because I kind of feel like they
Yeah,
got devalued because everybody was hating on them so much.
yeah,
So to me, it's just, I think if anybody lost out, that was I don't remember who exactly bought them, but I think it's good that they just put the brakes on and said, okay, this is a really terrible idea. We just need to
yeah.
stop this right here. Now, again, like, I mean, playing devil's advocate, I feel like, like when you do a new project, new things, you're gonna make mistakes. And
Yeah,
again,
no, it was just a very
I
expensive
just,
mistake. That's all.
it was, and like maybe I don't remember who bought them and how much they paid for them, but or if they just got pulled in packs. If they just got pulled in packs, I think that that's something that
But
could have.
they may have, but it's like people still bought them in the aftermarket and such. I look. Here's
Yeah,
the
I
thing.
don't know, but
This,
how many
I think
Genesis moments were there? There was like
10.
10.
Yeah,
So
I will
again,
say
like,
this. I hear you, but it's like the mistakes that you're willing to let go are like hey, we're gonna do these. Remember the whole like 2 years ago before the dynamic moments, they were gonna do these like commons, right? And commons were gonna have no limit. There was gonna be no limit on the mint. It was just gonna be like mint, like
yep,
however
yep,
many they
yep,
made, and you could combine like the different colors to make new colors. And they announced this whole system. And
right.
where did that go? What happened to that? Like where did all that like? And here's the thing, that's the kind of fuck up that I'm like, okay, like they figured it out that it wasn't going to work and then they didn't do it. That's the kind of stuff that's like cool because it's not like no one lost huge. It wasn't like everybody was planning their, collection around it or whatever versus like, like Mahomes or whatever gets like a one of one all of a sudden. It just throws everything off. Again, did it impact
Yeah,
me personally? Nope. Didn't
yeah,
hurt me at all. But I would certainly have been, had I been one of the people impacted, I would definitely understand how that could be very upsetting with that
yes,
stuff. And it was just, again, it just didn't fit the product. The whole idea of this
it did.
product is
Yeah,
not to be a one of one.
one
So,
on one. Yeah,
yeah.
totally understand that. But I think, like, kind of going forward, I think that they just need to take the other Genesis moments that are out there and just burn it and move on. I don't think
And I
there's a
think they will.
reason.
They were supposed to have been distributed by last. Like again, there's another thing. Like they were supposed to be distributed 2 years ago. Didn't happen. Distributed last year. Didn't happen. Is it going to be
I
this
don't.
year?
I don't.
Probably not. Like now they're
Has there
saying
ever
it's supposed
been?
to be by.
Okay,
I don't know.
I don't think I've ever seen an official announcement that said that they were going to be distributed by a certain date.
Yeah, no, it was in the blog and they've changed the date. It does. It was in the mailbag. I
Okay.
take that back. They did say it in the
If you
mailbag.
want to talk about fuck ups, the one that they fucked up the worst was the one where they did like the Super Bowl rings of the Rams, and they were selling like those, like that to me, like
Yeah,
there's your
yeah,
fuck up, because they
yeah,
promised something and then they just never did it, and they said there was going to be like, it's going to be this and it's going to be that, and then they just abandoned ship.
yeah.
Now again, were those crap? Kind of, but I mean, like, again, yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like
they were supposed to
that
redo that whole system and it never even got redone. So
right, that
yeah,
to me is like, do you want to talk about a fuck up? There's one. Doing the 10 Genesis moments, that is a fuck up, yes. But the fact that they never released the other Genesis moments, I don't think
yeah.
that's a problem. And I, like,
I,
I hear you on the Paul Pierce one, but it's like they got it right. They shouldn't have done it. They fucked up. It
they
sounds like
did,
somebody
but
put
it's
it.
yeah,
It sounds like somebody put an Ellie. Some graphics guy probably put an Ellie on there when he shouldn't
yeah.
have, or she shouldn't have, and it got messed up, and everybody got mad. It's like sometimes I think that, like, and I don't know enough about the Paul
Supposedly,
Pierce
I
thing, but
don't know if they actually said that
6,500,
in there. Yeah.
the 6,500 versus the 5,000 isn't gonna break or make or break anybody's
No,
lifestyle.
I will
People
like.
like
So
to
what else?
bitch.
I will say this too. Like just out of curiosity, I went back in to see. Like I'm like, well, okay, if this is such a big deal, like these got to be like right. This got to be a big dollar thing. No, they're like $3
Right.
moments.
Right. It's just, people
I
just
know
like to bitch.
it did. Like I will say that like that's a fair like it's a fair critique in the sense of like I was like when I heard it I was like wow these must be like really like special packs and shit
Right.
and then I went and I was like I'm like what are they even going for and I looked at it, it was like $2 $3 and I was like That's like
Yeah.
everybody got upset because they made an extra
Make
$1,500,
it sound like
$1,500
it's like the
moments.
Michael Jordan debut moment or something, you know? It's
I know. Um. Anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna look now too, just for the shits and gigs of the whole thing. But it yeah, it's just like I'm like okay, yeah, here they are. So let's see, they're going for oh Jesus, this thing.
probably not going for much.
I don't
What else
like. I
do
will say
what else
this.
do we got on
Don't
tap here?
that might be talked about Kookaburra. The okay. So again, one more time, we're gonna go back to the Top Shot well, and that is yeah, these things are going for $2, $3, $4. Oh, there's one we're going for 10 here. The
Woo!
of 500. So that must have been
All
the
right.
special one. That one's going for a whole
Yeah.
$10. Okay. Uh, so
Final topic.
final topic is well, two final topics. This is the final Top Shot topic though, and that is that they're doing this thing, and I think it's new because I'd never seen it before. But it's basically they're selling like these $9 packs where it was like five commons, and if you get
Oh,
lucky, a rare or a legendary or whatever. But what I really liked was that you would buy this $9 pack and you get your five moments. And if you look at those five moments and you're like, fuck these things, I'm not like, these are like gonna be like, 10-cent floaty sales. You basically can just say, never mind, and ship it back to Dapper for $5. So $1 per common, which is a better rate than you're ever gonna see on Floaty or wherever, right? So you sell your $5, you sell your $1 moments right back to Dapper, $5 in Top Shot credit towards your next pack that you can go buy. I love that idea. Like I love the idea. What the fuck, dude? Why do you not like that idea?
I just like why even make the moments? It's like I
Because
mean, if you've got moments that are that bad that people don't even want them, then you're doing something wrong.
no, no,
It's
no.
it
It's
it's
not
like
that. It's the people who buy. It's this is for the people. Not this isn't. Look, I think
what are
most
they going to
people.
do
It's
with what are they going to do with the moments? They're going to get distributed anyway. They're
yeah.
if they got burnt, then I would be with it. But they're not getting burnt. They're getting taken and they're going to get repackaged and resold to you at some point down the road.
Of
So it's
course,
like
they're
if
because
you're
they're not burning things anymore. They're keeping all these moments to resell in like different Grail packs and stuff. That's the new reality. Like you just got to get over it.
oh, I know. I guess I'm over it. But what I'm saying is that that's why I don't agree with it because they're just going to be redistributed.
Okay, but so you'd rather have the floor go down to 10 cents and those moments just sit out there and a whole bunch of them just sit at 10 cents?
I think the floor is 10 cents, whether it,
I see. I
I don't,
disagree because if you start doing this, like if they do this, if you start doing this on day one of the new NFL season for the 2025 Commons,
hmm
okay, there are not going to be 10-cent moments because you'd be an idiot, right? Like there'll be people who will. Well, I guess there'll be people who will like go, oh, I got my rare. I'm going to take my rare and sell my other four commons for 10 cents.
yeah.
That will happen, but I think that supply will get eaten up a lot faster and a lot easier than the supply of like the other 10 packs I opened up that didn't have a rare or didn't have whatever that I just ditched because that's what people
Okay.
do. Like,
So what's going to happen is this is you're going to, let's say there's 25,000 packs,
yeah,
like 18,000 of those packs are going to come back. So what are they going to give them?
I
They're
wouldn't
going to
say
give them
18,000, but yeah, sure.
they're going to come back in droves. It's
Oh yeah,
what you're
they
doing
will.
is I think you're setting a precedence that, like if you buy a crappy pack, then you can just return it and get like that the whole thing is
It's
make the
just letting you
product
sell. I do love the idea of. I wish they would burn it. Like that would be fantastic if they would just
that
take the supply and burn it. Yeah,
that's what they should do. But the idea of this is like now you're just saying that yeah, these are shitty moments and you shouldn't keep them because we know they're shitty moments and
but
they're
dude,
admitting
it's
that.
okay. So, all right, you're saying why would you make shitty moments? I'll give you. Let me give you two reasons why.
Okay.
Just like any cardboard set of cards, you had shitty moments, dude. Like you would always have that guy. Like there were the
Yeah.
stars, but there were also a bunch of players that you were just like, all right, I got myself a, whatever.
Jimmy Jenkins, yeah.
Yep. And so that's just part of collecting. It's
So
not
then keep it.
every. I mean, personally, I do. Like but I'm the minority. So
I just
I would keep players.
once you
I want a
start
whole set.
returning things, it's like then the expectation is that why are these returnable? Like, why can't I do it this time? Why are we doing it this way? So you expect me to
Yeah.
keep these, you're devaluing it. Like to me, again, like you're taking that step back and you're saying, I'm going to devalue the moments to the point where you can return them because we know their shit, you know their shit. It's like, to me, it's like, fine, like instead of making 10,000, you know, Timmy Jenkins and everybody returning those 10,000, why don't we lower it to 500 and put some value on Timmy
Well,
Jenkins
because
instead?
yeah, I'll tell you why. Because people, when they buy packs, don't want to buy 2 moment packs for $20. They want to buy $5 packs with 9 moments. Like that. Like that is the
So let
problem.
Right, but the whole thing is that maybe you got a lesson, and like maybe you still got to put the same amount of moments in there, and there's only 500 of them, but maybe there's just less packs.
I know, but then they don't make the money. But that's not making them the money they need to make. Then
Then they're doing the whole thing is, to me, it's like that's their problem. Like that the whole thing is that if you're not making a product that is like, if you got to keep backtracking to like accommodate for your shitty product, then something's wrong
bro,
with
it's
the
not that the
product.
product is shitty. It's that the product is fine. It's that there are always going to be. It's like it's the model. It's like the look
Why was Donald Driver worth something and now he's not?
because he had utility. But dude, like let's just
Yeah,
forget football cards. Look at like Pokemon cards. So we reference that a lot here.
sure,
People like there people will open pack after pack. Those comments just go to like a recycling bin. Like no
because they're
one.
free.
Right. That's my. They're not free. No, I'm talking about like the actual physical cards.
Okay.
I'm talking about
Yeah.
the packs that people pay. They pay $4 for a pack. They go in. They're hoping to get one good card out of that. The other nine are just like gone. Like they don't. Like no one gives a shit about the other nine.
Hmm.
And so that's just like the nature of the beast. And so when you're saying that, you're saying like this model is unique. This is the tried and true model of
Okay. So
cards.
apply that model to Pokemon. So let's say you could go in and you could buy Pokemon packs
Yeah.
and you could pay like $5 for a Pokemon pack or whatever they're going for right now,
Yep.
and then you
And you
could
could
get
sell
three
it back
bucks
for
back.
two. Yeah.
Fine, two. How many packs do you think would go back?
I don't know, but the point is do you know how many more packs they would sell that way? Because here's the thing: they're making $4 every pack. They're selling them for 9 and giving you 5 back. And if you're gonna take that 5 and add another 4 and go and buy another pack, as a businessman, I will give you that all day. Like, fine with me.
It sounds like to me it's a great deal for them, but a bad deal for us.
It's not a bad deal for us. It's a better deal for us. This is what I'm saying. It's a win-win in the sense of this. You are like these people who are hunting for these moments are going to buy 20, 30, 40, 50 packs anyway. Now they're going to buy 40, 50, 60, 70 packs because they get $5 back for everyone that they trade back.
Hmm.
Why not?
What happens to those packs? Like they eventually get redistributed, and then they have
Yeah, they go
no
into like
value.
these grail packs or into something. I don't know where they go. I really don't
That,
know. But
yeah.
the point being is that wherever they go, they were gonna go anyway. Like say those moments didn't go, they would have just made another comment of some guy later in the season or whatever. It's or they would have given somebody a second comment or something.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a I hear what you're saying, but this would give them the opportunity to probably take that number from 10, or what's it up to now? What was the comment at now? 3,000?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's bounced around.
Is
It
it
just
five?
depends
I
on.
don't even remember anymore. But whatever it was, they take that number. You can bring it down a little bit now because you know you're going to cycle through and sell them twice.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I think
All
that
right,
just,
that's
I mean,
fair.
yeah, I mean, again, it seems like a good idea for them. Like if I was Dapper, then I could see where, yeah, let's do that because these fools are going to return this and we're going to sell double the packs. This is a
I
great
don't
money
understand
making.
where. So who's it a bad idea for then, and
I think it's
why?
for the buyer, it's a bad idea. For the
Why?
collector, it's a bad idea because essentially you're just buying packs and admitting that like most of the moments are trash and you don't really need them for anything. So it's like, why, like, it kind of just, to me, it just takes away from the whole thing. It's like all
See,
we're
I
doing at
guess
that point is, It's like
Okay.
all we're doing is hunting and pecking for these special moments. So it's just
That's what
like
these people who are selling, like, first of all, you don't have to sell the pack back, right? So if
I
you like your
understand.
5 commons, you keep them. But what it does, think about this.
I
It
would
saves.
I wouldn't buy a pack of that. I like that would like again like that wouldn't make me want to buy a pack. I'd be like, oh God.
It doesn't impact you in any way whatsoever. I don't understand. Like what
Yeah.
is it that's
It just seems like a it just seems like they're devaluing their product.
the devalue already happens because look, if I'm one of the people who buy 50 packs and throw them all away basically on floaty or whatever for 10 cents a
Sure.
piece. What, like, first of all, you just saved me time. You just made my life easier, and you gave me incentive to buy more packs. So what? I don't see the loss here. Like,
Because eventually like you're going to be buying these packs from them again. You're trading
yeah,
these
but
packs
that's my
back.
choice. I can see what's in these packs. They do a clear list of what's in every pack. I can see my odds. I can make a decision of whether or not I want to buy these packs or not.
Right. But essentially, what they're going to do is they're going to take all those moments that are returned and try to sell them to you again.
They're
And so,
already doing that. They're already doing that with the burn challenges.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I look at the model that they had like in the first couple of years, and I understand that it was like, like things were hot, like it was doing well. But we've talked about that there's low mint counts on these. Like
Yeah.
they should have some value to them. Even like the shitty players should be like could be up to like $2 from time to time just based on the mint count. So it's like
If
I
yeah, if the
I I
demand was
I,
there,
I
there
don't understand why we're like going to desperation mode.
there's two reasons why. One, there's not enough demand, and two, they're not creating utility. So they're like, in my mind, there should be a reason to collect last year's base set. Like, there should be something where if I have every common from last year from the
Yeah.
base set, there should be a reward for that. And there's not, and that's stupid. Like, it doesn't have to be a big reward, but just make something available to people who like actually collect and keep the commons and do something with them.
Right.
Like
If
that's
there
what's
was
being.
a reward, then people wouldn't want to return the moments because they might need that they might say, "Oh, well, I need, this guy for my base set." So,
Yeah,
like so again, like if we were in that type of territory, then maybe I could say we're like, okay, maybe that's like not a bad idea because there's actually some value on this, but I feel like we're in the gutter right now, and this is
yeah.
just like putting us it's just like a drug problem that just gets out of hand.
I mean, yeah. Obviously, we have diverging viewpoints here, and that's fine.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. And again, like if they do it or don't, it doesn't change a goddamn thing.
Yeah,
It's like it's still there's still like huge problems, and it's until they start doing something about the existing moments that are out there and making those worth something. This is just like all they're doing is it's just like they're just flipping moments. Like they're just trying to sell you like
yeah.
it's
The
like
next
a
season.
they're just trying to sell you the next season. And it's like until they put their foot down and say, fuck this. We're done doing this bullshit. We're gonna make this stuff worth something. And we're either gonna die on this hill and this product's gonna go under, or that's just that, or we're gonna succeed. And it's like all they're doing is like I feel like they're just pushing they're kicking the can down the road, and we're just going to
Yeah,
keep playing this game until it fizzles out, or they're hoping that things get better, but they need to like put their foot down in some way and start testing the waters a little bit. That's my take
yeah,
on it.
yeah. I don't. I mean, I
This
hear
is
what you're
just another
saying.
way to kick the can down the road.
Yeah.
That
I mean, I don't know. They got to make money too, and I get that. So it's like they're just trying to do
they've
what they
made
can.
plenty of money. I mean,
They're
they've
not
they've
doing
pimped
that.
out the legendary. Like the legendary used to be worth something. Like now we got like they went from selling like some legendaries and making a lot of money. Now all of a sudden they like let's sell all the legendaries in the world and we'll sell them all. And it's
Yeah.
like they got fucking greedy, and they're trying to like cash in like a mother. And it's like now all of a sudden it's not worth something, and they're like, well, what can we do now? It's just like
Right.
no, you back out and you dig out of the hole, you get your shit right, and you figure it out and stop fucking around. That's
Yeah.
my take on it.
Yeah.
They're acting like a bunch of clowns with this like, you know, it's like this woe is me kind of crap. It's like you created this mess and now
Right.
you don't know how to get out of it. I just that's the part that pisses me off is like they had something good going. They're the ones that fucked this up. They got greedy.
Yeah.
They did. It's not
Yeah.
like I mean, I don't know. It just seemed like things were kicking along. I'm trying to remember exactly what it is that made this thing actually go in the toilet, but it felt like when they just started like creating like massive amounts of moments. I mean, they had 10,000 moments in like the first series, and those things were going for quite a bit of money. But people
Well,
just
I
got
mean, the
disinterested.
crypto market was just crushing it too back then too, and so part of it was the fact that the whole market took a dump, and so when that happened, a lot of people lost interest. So
I mean, that's true, but I mean, I guess one could argue that they had a really big opening. I mean, Top Shot didn't see the problems that they're seeing.
I mean, yeah, they did.
I think Top Shot's rebounded a lot. No pun intended. I think they've rebounded a lot better.
I think finally this year they're finally starting to see kind of the light there at the end of the
Sure,
tunnel.
but aren't they
But
doing like 60,000 moments on
oh,
some of their
sorry,
like the Top Shot stuff, or what are their like mint counts to?
for what, the rookies you mean, or for just like
No, for
regular
like
moments?
like take it like the highest count of anybody.
I don't know.
Okay. I was under the impression that they were still doing high mint counts because I mean, I'm trying to think of the highest mint count that I've seen in 2024, and I don't even think it's near 10,000
For all day or for Top
for all
Shot?
day. Yes, for all day. I think they've reduced the count. Like I think 5,000 maybe is like around the max. Maybe 6,000. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna look right now. Let's see.
I think we're
Eight
setting the record
thousand. 8,000 is the highest mint
for all
count
day.
for Top Shot.
Oh, really? Okay, so they've reduced. I was unaware of that
Yep, the
because I know
base
that they
set
had.
has 8,000.
Okay. Then they've dropped their min count significantly
Yeah,
because they used to
back
be.
that's what I'm saying though. Back yeah, when they were flying high, they were doing like 50, 60,000 mint count.
Sure, my bad on that part. Yep.
Yeah.
I just again I don't know. All Day is got a decent product here, and they're just choosing not to capitalize on it.
I mean, I think there's some things they could do to improve, but yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
7,500 is the base set for all day. So only
Really?
500 off.
75. Okay. So there's that really they did 7,500.
Hmm.
That's kind of high. I
It
mean, it's no
is. I
10,000.
remember it being high. I remember when I saw the number, I was like, "Whoa, this is a high number." But yeah, I thought it was 5,000%. But again, maybe now that they're doing this like resale thing, they can bring that number down to like 4 or 5,000 and just
I mean, to me, it's like if like maybe they should just do like this. They should make the base set worth something and do like like you want to talk about old school baseball cards, put 15 or 16 of those moments that are just absolute rubbish and make the actual amount that they sell for what you're paying for them. Like, like make it a $2 pack where there's like 16 moments in there. And
yeah.
you're like and again, like just make them like baseball cards or football cards used to be. Like again, like they put this high price tag on them, and that's why people like again, if you're paying $5 or $9 for these packs, that's why people want to return them. But it's like everybody like you open it up and you see your value just disintegrate. Even if you pull a rare, the rares aren't keeping the value. So it's like
Yeah.
they have to because they've devalued their own product, they have to reduce the price pack, and therefore that's what's sending their model down in the toilet. And again,
I
you have
mean,
to bring value back to the moments that you have, so then you can sell new moments at a higher value. That
so to a degree, you're right. But the other part of this equation is that the people who buy these packs are the ones that decide what they're worth. So
sure, I understand
it
that.
like the problem is that there are these products, and I've said this probably 100 times now on all of our episodes, is there's too many flippers and not enough collectors.
Sure.
It is out of balance, and so flippers don't give a shit. They'll just sell it for whatever they can get that moment, so they can degen into more stuff. Collectors will hang on to something and be like, no, I'm good. I'm not going to get rid of this. Like, though, that's the mentality we need more of. But
Yeah.
the problem is that everybody who's here is like, I'm not going to collect unless they reward me, unless they give me utility. I'm not just collecting for collecting's sake. That mentality, I think, is just like antiquated. I don't know if it exists anymore, honestly. Um,
Well, there's no
and
reason
so
to. Again, they don't do anything. They don't do anything with like again with launch
but
codes
neither
and
did
all.
baseball cards. Neither did football
But th-
cards.
but that's not why a lot of people get into this though. The difference between baseball cards and this is that people are getting into this because they think that they should get something out of it. So how hard is it? Like they do have all these contests and whatever. So give these people a reason to hold on to it. It's like again, we I could literally punch these people in the face. It's just so easy to just give the people something to say, oh, like this still means something to somebody. Like
Yeah,
all you have to do is that like once a week, give somebody something. I mean, give them all those cards that get returned. Give them those for hanging on to a base set or something. Give them more base set, but give them something. Make it seem like collecting is actually worth a damn because
right.
it's just like again it appears to me that all they're in the business of doing is selling moments and fuck the rest, and that's the vibe that they give off.
Yeah,
And then you
yeah.
get these
They
flippers
are
that
catering to the flippers. That's for sure.
yeah, and it's like that is going to be the death of them is because they're going to cater to all these flippers, and it's like when the flippers are done they're going to leave and they're going to be standing around with their dicks in their hand looking and saying like what do we got now, well, let's do
Yep.
something for the collectors now, and it's going to be way too late. So it's
Yep.
like now it's time to like buckle down and get it right. They have like some momentum, so it's like I don't know, get it right. I
All
don't know.
right. Well,
Yeah,
I think
on
we've
that
gone on
note,
long
you're
enough.
skating on thin ice.
All right. Let's wind this fucker down. This has been a long one. Yeah, if you stuck around this long, thank you.
Yeah.
We're sorry. We're
We got
sorry.
a
Hopefully you
We got
watched
a
it on
Ted Washington coming
1.25
our
or
way.
something.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Hopefully the people from All Day stuck around this long. If anybody could benefit from them, it's them.
Yeah. We'll be back too in the off season. We're going to be doing more episodes, probably like more quick hit type things, talking about kind of moments and stuff. We've got some lists of like people to target and some stuff like that. So that'll be coming up more in the off season, talking about the draft. We didn't even get to talk about free agency. We'll have to say that for the next episode and talk about all the new landing spots for people and how that could affect things. So, yeah, we'll get into that in the rest of the off season. So we will catch you on the next one, everyone.
All right. Peace out.